poppin', y'all? This is Deidre with One Shot Game, man. You already know how the motto go. You get one shot at life, but a lifetime to learn all the game you need to help improve your life. The choice is yours on which route you choose to take. And as I always say, you get two choices: the ability to faithfully settle with the life that has been set out for you, or the ability to pave a path towards your destiny. That choice is also up to you. So before I get into the title of my video, I want to say a big shout out to all my supporters. You guys are great. And even the ones behind the scenes, I see y'all too. So look, the title of this video, I wanted to drop a gem for y'all before I wrap it up for the day, is the fact that oftentimes I truly believe that even though the world is healing and turning into a new version of itself, you still have to be wise enough and not naive to understand that there are a lot of people who still live in the old world, right? And me personally, I truly believe that the reason why a lot of things were allowed to happen is because people were just uninformed. And I think that's because people wanted to protect people's reputation. You know how you want to see somebody a certain way, that you don't want to understand that there may be negative traits about them. There may be things about them that are not so nice because you have this certain image of how you want to see them. You know what I'm saying? And I truly believe the more informed we are about life in general, the more we can protect ourselves and weed out the darkness. You know what I'm saying? And again, I feel as if the world we live in, it's okay to have titles, right? But I feel like you should never think a person's behavior have to be a certain way because of a title. Like, get rid of the title and look at the person as a person for who they are. You know what I'm saying? Because this topic really just registered to me because of the simple fact that you got to understand how a lot of people don't tell people things that may be inappropriate or not nice, or things that they think they've seen that they know is wrong, is because you want to think that someone is not like that. You know what I'm saying? And then you have everybody around you painting this person to be this way that you become afraid. You know what I'm saying? To tell anything that you may have seen that's inappropriate. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just saying in general, because you got to think, a lot of people wear masks. So a person might be one way in front of a group of people, but then when they notice them people is away, the mask comes off or slips. And so they're this way in front of another group of people. You know what I'm saying? With the intention of them people not being able to pick up on who they really are for real. And I feel like, you know what I'm saying, it slides by adults, but I feel like children notice it more. You know what I'm saying? And because of the way they think that we feel about people, leads to a lot of secrets, a lot of, you know what I'm saying, painting a person in a certain image, not really stepping up to the plate and being honest. And you know what, hey, I seen this wasn't cool, I don't like it. You know what I'm saying? I feel as if when you're children, that's when your spirit is sensitive enough to pick up on what you really see from someone before you become older and it gets brainwashed, you know? So because of that, I feel as if, just speaking from experience of being a mother and having a child, you know, I talk to my child a lot, you know what I'm saying? A lot, to let her know that, you know what I'm saying, the world we live in, people are very intelligent and swift with their words. If you haven't noticed, almost in every movie where someone is about to do something inappropriate, it starts out with talking. You know what I'm saying? Into persuading this person to think that what they about to do is okay. You know what I'm saying? And again, that leads to secrets for the world. And that's why when people pop out with something, everybody acts shocked. No, a lot of people seen it. A lot of people know it was going on, but people just didn't speak up and say nothing about it because of they not wanting to see this person this way, or because, you know what I'm saying, the person they may look up to ignores the fact that it's happening, that's crazy. It's beyond me. And that's why a lot of evil, sinister things were allowed to get away in this world, and people act like it didn't happen when it really was happening, and it damaged a lot of people. So again, I'm the type of person that I know words are powerful. If you tell the truth and be honest, you know what I'm saying, it leads for people to have that open line of communication. And what happens is that leads to less further damage down the line. So me and who I am, right? My daughter, you know, she's little. She don't really know how to wash herself. You know what I'm saying? So I will wash her body. But as she started getting older and she started to understand what was happening, I would give her the towel so she could wash her own private area. You know what I'm saying? And it's not so much about the touching, but again, you can't be naive and think it don't happen, because it can. But it's more so like what's being said before that gets to that point, because we all know that's inappropriate. We all know that that's not okay. You know what I'm saying? So I would tell her all the time, like, if something is happening to you that you don't like, make sure you come tell me. I said, and even when it comes to me, you know what I'm saying? If I'm doing something you don't like, don't be afraid to tell somebody. You know what I'm saying? Because just because I'm your mom doesn't make me exempt from inappropriate behavior, because inappropriate is inappropriate, period. You know what I'm saying? And so I feel as if telling her that, you know what I'm saying, opens up that line of communication, because a lot of times us as adults may, you know, feel as if we're comfortable around other adults strictly because we don't want to believe that they're that way. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of the time, energetically, we've been brainwashed, you know what I'm saying, to weed out the darkness and only look at them a certain way. But you got to understand, if you got children, and say, for instance, you may trust your siblings or your aunties or whatever, and you drop your kids over there, right? And they seeing stuff, because again, they're young, their spirit is still sensitive. They don't miss the things that maybe we're brainwashed and conditioned to not see. You know what I'm saying? But if you are painting this person a certain way, or you're looking at them in a certain way because you feel as if, I don't know, you idolize them or whatever, you know what I'm saying? You got to think of how that makes a child uncomfortable to be able to come and tell you something that maybe they seen, that maybe when that person is around you, they know how to wear a mask, so you're not able to, you feel me, see them that way. You see them in the way that they paint for you. I feel as if that's very important in this world right now. You know what I'm saying? Currently is the fact that open a line of communication, you know what I'm saying, by being honest and not ignoring like bad things about a person because you want to idolize them and put them in a certain light. Like, people are people, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter about the title. If they're gonna do something, they're gonna do it, period. You know what I'm saying? But for everybody that have young children or just adults in general, you know what I'm saying, they see things and know things that maybe we don't see, but we feel comfortable enough to leave them over there with this person. You got to think, if you want to be naive to who a person really is, that leaves the child to feel uncomfortable. So they don't talk to you and tell you what they may be seeing this person do. You know what I'm saying? And you got to almost understand how I'm coming at the situation, because I don't want, you know what I'm saying, the manipulation it to be smooth when a person is doing something sinister to maybe a child who doesn't want to be understanding that this may be wrong, because the people around them has them thinking that this person wouldn't do something like that. You get what I'm saying? So if a person is somewhat sinister or whatever behind the scenes, the child will know it's wrong, but won't feel as if they need to tell someone, because everybody is looking at this person as if they don't do no wrong. That's beyond me. It's crazy, and it's oftentimes a lot of the reason why there are things that have been happening in this world that we have kept a secret, but they're being revealed now. But I'm saying, going forward, just having that open communication, you know what I'm saying? Don't be just taking your kids everywhere with everybody because you want to rightfully believe that this person is a certain way. You know what I'm saying? Without seeing that person for who they truly are. And that just means we got to be more aware as people. If you see a person, acting a certain way, believe them. Don't ignore it because you want to believe in your mind that this person is not that way. No, they're showing you exactly who they are, and you're choosing to ignore it because you want to believe that this person is not like that. No. You know what I'm saying? That leads to a lot of things happening. You know what I'm saying? That people just keep a secret, and then you get 10, 20 years later in your life, and yet now you're burdened by something that you should have told somebody, or that, really hurt you for real, because only thing you could really say is, well, I thought that. No, I don't want nobody to think nothing when it come to mine. Now understand, this is a learning process. You know what I'm saying? Everybody is going to do it differently, but for me and mine, you know what I'm saying? No one is exempt. I don't care who they are. You know what I'm saying? How they're related to you. If they're showing you an aspect of themselves, believe that's who they truly are. And you have to get up enough, power inside yourself to either speak up, say something, or cut it off. Simply like that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to give my child all space and opportunity to do so. You know what I'm saying? But I just feel as if we underestimate the fact that when you're children, you're split in between worlds because your spirit is still pure. You haven't been brainwashed by what the people around you are telling you how you should see things. So oftentimes they see a lot more than what we give them credit for. But if we're brainwashed as adults to think a certain way, they may come tell us something or be afraid to tell us something because they're afraid of how we might react or what we might say. That's why I feel as if now's the time to be honest. You know what I'm saying? And stop pacifying people for what you want to see them as and really see them as who they are. You know what I'm saying? Because again, that stops a lot of things before they happen. I don't care who it is. You know what I'm saying? Listen, if it's inappropriate, it's inappropriate. She's my baby girl is big now, but I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? If you don't like it, you don't feel okay with it, I don't care who it is. You tell somebody. You know what I'm saying? Because that trauma could last for decades, centuries, sometimes generations. You know what I'm saying? Where that type of treatment is okay because people don't feel as if it's okay to say something because they want to see a person a certain way. I don't put nothing past nobody, especially now that I'm waking up to who I am. I finally got a chance to see that just because you may think this person is this person and that person is that person doesn't put past them the things that they may do that you don't see. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times people brainwash you so good that everybody around you know that that person is like that, but you feel me? Because for whatever reason, they don't want you to know. Everybody else knows, but you don't. You know what I'm saying? And you caught it, you seen it, but the people around you brainwash you so good to think that you don't think that person in that way, you become afraid. And now you end up with the trauma that they lived with for years. But it's all a setup, you feel me, to pass that on instead of waking up and stop gatekeeping and being real and being honest. It's crazy, but it's a real thing, you know what I'm saying? So personally, I just feels like now is the time to really, speak up and be honest and tell the truth, because that deep-rooted trauma passed on in your own life, you know what I'm saying, can have effects later on, and you trying to figure out why. It's because even though you felt as if you could have released and told someone, you were too afraid. You know what I'm saying? Because of the image. I don't give a damn. You know what I'm saying? There is no image. I don't care what the label is. A human is a human. And if you see all of them the same, that means all of them can have, you know what I'm saying, other identities on the other side of the mask. So if you or anyone, you know what I'm saying, decide to have children or have children, keep that line of communication open, which means you be honest and upfront and let them know what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong, period. Nothing should be right if it's wrong because your mom or your dad. No, it's still wrong. You know what I'm saying? And what happens is now they feel confident enough to be able to come and say, hey, listen, this happened. like this. You know what I'm saying? But you got to think of how a lot of children or even teenagers or even sometimes adults don't speak up and say anything because you want to see a person for what everybody paints them as instead of who you see them be when those people are not around. When the mask slips, you know what I'm saying? It's a side of that person that you see that's really them for real. You know what I'm saying? Because again, a person that's overall leveled understands and knows they can be themselves in any particular situation because they have the moral values of life. What's wrong is wrong and what's right is right. I have the ability and responsibility to live my life the way I feel is comfortable for me, but not in a way where you hurt people, manipulate people, finesse people to do people harm. It's a difference between the two. You know what I'm saying? And people, I think, were a lot confused on the difference between the two. So if a person tells you, hey, I'm this way, I'm that way, you know what I'm saying? Let me do this because I'm this way. If a person is led to believe a person is in a certain stature or position in life, that can lead to a lot of evil things being done and that person never speaking up or saying anything about it. You know what I'm saying? And what happens is it leaves a cord of attachment for a person that has been done in an unjust way for a lifetime, that they're hard to pull away from that way of thinking. Like they are stuck on, you know what I'm saying, being thrown into or around people that have a certain way of saying things to get them to think a certain way. Like it's so hard to actually get your own mind from that. You know what I'm saying? That it takes time, a lot of time. You know what I'm saying? To finally understand the difference between a person's real identity and the mask they wear with you. You know? Listen, it's tricky. It get real out here in these streets. But again, I believe for centuries and decades, oftentimes why a lot of the trauma is being thrown up right now currently is because everybody wanted to paint some certain body in a certain image. No, that person wouldn't do that. No, they not like that. You feel me? And so you go and put valuable souls into the possession of this person, and the whole time, you know what I'm saying, they're smiling in your face and brainwashing you as an adult because you're already performed and brainwashed to think a certain way. Whole time the child has no idea that, you feel me, what they're seeing or what they know is not how it's supposed to be, but that's how you bred them up to be brainwashed to the very same thing that you're brainwashed to. It's crazy, but it's very real. You know what I'm saying? And that's how it continues, and it goes on and on and on. So just understanding and being mindful that I feel as if when you become an adult, it's hard to clear your conscience of the brainwashing to be able to see in between, or the sudden spirit changes versus how a person is. But for a child, it's easy for them to see them. But if they're raised around adults that make them feel uncomfortable with being themselves and telling the truth, they'll let bad things pass through. And then you'll end up having to deal with the effects of, you know what I'm saying, that trauma energetically when they get older, especially if you have an attachment to them. So get it together now, especially since we're living in a day and age where it's being brought to the forefront. I almost feel as if a lot of those things won't be able to operate, but I also understand and know that, being not naive, that you can still manipulate and finesse a person who's vulnerable into thinking something, especially if they're vulnerable, you know? So all I'm saying is how much of a clear conscience you'll have and at peace with yourself if you tell the truth and be honest, you know what I'm saying? And understand that just because you hold a certain rank or hold a certain title does not give you the ability to do some things that are wrong, period. You know what I'm saying? Don't look at the title for that. Look at it for it to being wrong. And that'll give you the more of a strength to be able to be like, hey, this ain't cool. This shouldn't be happening. This shouldn't be going on. You know what I'm saying? Because if you currently see in the world now, a lot of people are separating from people because of people who got that mind frame and they thought like that. And they could have prevented it, but they gatekeeped and they locked the door to information that could have been revealed to them, and now they mad at the person that separated from them like they did something wrong. They didn't do anything wrong. It was you the whole time. You know what I'm saying? And it's weird, but it's the very real thing. So listen, if you don't know what it is, I just told you. Please make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe.